Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dailey, a young adult science fiction fantasy author, and today we are talking about points of view. Points of view, or POV, in fiction refers to the narrator's position when describing the events of a story. It's what the character or narrator telling the story can see and then relay back to the reader. First person. First person is when the character is in the story, relating his or her experiences directly to the reader. This is usually how we speak when we're talking about ourselves. My opinions, our trip to the store, things that happened to us. The difference being that the person talking about themselves and their life and their story is your main character. First person is limited in the sense that the character can only tell their side of the story, and it's up to the readers to decide if they're trustworthy. Because when you're only telling one side of the story, it becomes subjective. This introduces the unreliable narrator, when you can't exactly trust your main character to be telling the actual facts of the story. There are a few big mistakes that people make when writing in first person. One of them is make sure your main character is likable. Now, I don't mean like a good person, I just mean they need to be interesting. If a reader is spending a lot of time in a character's head, they have to like it there. Another mistake in first person is that the narrator does a lot of telling instead of showing, noting what the character is seeing instead of letting those details come to the character and the reader. Also, there is a danger of spending too much time in the character's head, thinking about their thoughts and feelings instead of spending more time in the action of the story. I'm not saying that if you're writing first person, these are things that you're doing, it's just things to watch out for. Second person. This is a story that's told as if you, the reader, are the main protagonist and you're winding your way through the plot. This type of writing does things like you see bright lights flashing outside, you go to the window, you look out and see a car crash happening below, cop sirens are flaring outside. It's putting you, the reader, as the vessel in which to tell the story. Second person isn't super common in writing, but I wanted to give you guys a few books that you can look at if you are interested in reading it. Third person. The narrator is describing what's seen, but as a spectator. The narrator can be outside the story, noting what they observe, or the narrator can be a character in the story and we're reading what that character observes. There are three main third-person types: limited, omniscient, and limited omniscient. Limited. This is where the narrator and the reader only have access to one character's internal thoughts and monologue at a time. They're only able to see events as they unfold and have no access to the internal thoughts of other characters. Omniscient. The narrator has full access to all of the thoughts and experiences of every character in the story at any given time, much like an all-knowing God. Sharing all of the emotions of all of your characters all the time can be exhausting, so the best way to utilize this is to set some ground rules. Putting limits on how often that happens will help it read more smoothly. Limited omniscient. This is where the narrator has only access to one character's mind, or no character's mind, but focuses mainly on the character's actions, and instead lets the reader infer how he or she feels about the situation. Here's an example from Harry Potter for limited omniscient. Harry had taken up his place at wizard school, where he and his scar were famous. But now the school year was over, and he was back with the Dursleys for the summer, back to being treated like a dog that had rolled in something smelly. The Dursleys hadn't even remembered that today happened to be Harry's 12th birthday. So you can see that there's definitely emotion put on the scene, but we never actually know how Harry feels. We just infer that ourselves. Multi-POV, or multiple points of view. This is the usage of chapters or sections being in different characters' perspectives. A dual POV, or dual point of view book, will have perspectives from two different characters. A multi-POV book can have perspectives of anywhere from 3 and up. As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner had 15. Game of Thrones had 22. The Wheel of Time series, as a whole series, actually had 147 different perspectives. And it gets better. The Malazan Book of the Fallen had 453. I don't know which book has the most, but that is a lot of perspectives. The book can be entirely in third person limited, So each chapter or section, for example, can be focused on one character's thoughts, feelings, and actions at a time. Or it can include omniscient chapters, which allow the readers to see what's happening outside of the main character's limited world. Or it can mix narratives, such as having mostly third person with one character in first person, or omniscient points of view thrown in every now and then. Most choices like that are stylistic and personal. The best way to determine what point of view is right for your book is to try them out. One is going to feel more right than the others, and the writing is just going to take off and feel easier. And that's the one that you're going to want to go with. Okay guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the different points of view, perspectives. Hello, big man. They know my sign off now. So when I start signing off, they're like, oh, she's done. You want to come up and see everyone? It's the only chance you get in this video to see people. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. I'll see you later.